Given what have been achieved in the past 3.5 years, is a party that is good for us. Good for us because if you look at what has happened over the period of 3.5 years and where we are, what have we gotten that we didn't have before? And what do we hope to get now in the near future, which the chances, and what are the chances of our people getting those things? What have we gotten that we didn't have before? We have, within this administration, had the privilege of having our people that served during the Biafran Nigerian Civil War, who were pardoned but were not, paid their pensions and gratuities paid by this administration under President Muhammadu Buhari. We've had the privilege of at last knowing what the problem has been with the building and construction of the second Niger Bridge, and the fact that in August last year the contract was properly signed and work is ongoing, and the government has put in money, they have put in effort, and it's going well, progressing well. We have also the fact that the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway, amongst others, is now being reactivated, rehabilitated, and in a number of sectors, complete reconstruction of the road. You will recall that some part, the contract was properly signed and work is ongoing, and the government has put in money, they have put in effort, and it's going well, progressing well. We have also the fact that the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway, amongst others, is now being reactivated, rehabilitated, and in a number of sectors, complete reconstruction of the road. You will administration that our revered Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, whose mausoleum was conceived but was abandoned and not taken to conclusion, has been completed under this administration. You will also have to say and recognize the fact that under this administration, the Southeast, we have a free trade industrial city now, and the activities that will lead to the attainment of that, to achieve it, is very great. The agreement signed, the investments coming in, and under this administration we have the area, off-grid power plant supply, which is taking care of about 37,000 shops, and with free Wi-Fi that has been commissioned. Under this administration, there are so many things that we can go on and on, but not just that. People, we are talking about the APC next level.
Exactly.
And then what is there for Ndibo? And that is where I want to, really, that will lead to the attainment of that, to achieve it, is very great. The agreement signed, the investments coming in, and under this administration we have the area, off-grid power plant supply, which is taking care of about 37,000 shops, and with free Wi-Fi that has been commissioned. Under this administration, there are so many things that we can go on and on, but not just that. People, we are talking about the APC next level.
Exactly.
And then what is there for Ndibo? And that is where I want to, really make sure that our people understand.
Which the question will now be, next level of what?
The next level of advancement, of development, because for us in the South, when you talk about Abia State, talking about the Japan of Africa, you talk of creativity, you talk of innovation, you talk of technology. We hit that we are not getting the kind of support that we needed to advance that course. Now that is coming, and the next level is the establishment of the technology and the innovation fund from where we can now advance on what we are doing, the talents that God has given to us. We have, several programs that our people have been, out-of-school children, number of out-of-school children reduced, and it continues. By the next level arrangement, today is 26 states. By the next level arrangement, it will cover the set of states that is in this. So for us as Sandibo, where do we go from here? There are agricultural programs, there are other programs that has to do with mentorship, our graduates and all that, and knowing our retooling and giving our people the necessary skills, sharpening their skills, and things that has to do with ICTs and all that. But as Ndibo, what is our interest? Our interest is to get back. And where were we before now? We have been an important part of the tripod. Nigeria was established on a tripod. Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba.
Sorry to cut in. You say to get back in. Are you insinuating marginalization before now?
I am not insinuating marginalization. I am insinuating that we misdirected ourselves. Our revered leaders, like Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Dr. Michael Opara, and a number of others, gave us a path. Part of partnership and alliance with certain people that makes sure that we keep our own path and remain in this business.
Okay.
Well, somehow we developed a system, abandoned that system. That's our people not to make the same mistake we made in 2015. Because if we make that same mistake again, we continue to cry marginalization, neglect, and all that and that. If we make that same mistake again, our focus and all the efforts we've been making towards producing a Nigerian president of Igbo extraction in 2023 may not be possible. It will not be, actually, if we don't do what is right, what I'm urging and appealing to our people to do now. Over the years, we've been working, praying, and hoping that we will, in the year 2023, have a president of Nigeria of Igbo extraction. And we should depart that we make us wait for another 8 years. 4 years is enough. This is a project we've been working on. Let us conclude that project come 2023. And concluding that project will depend on how we vote on Saturday, the 16th of February. If we vote right, and I urge that we vote right, voting President Muhammadu Buhari, constitutionally, he ends his tenure in 2023, and he cannot go beyond that. So that gives us that push. Yeah, people are saying the Southwest are also asking for it now.
According to your party, it is going to be the turn of the Igbo extraction.
It's not according to my party. According to the program of Ndibo that have been working hard to attain this. This is power. Nobody gives it to you on a platter of gold.
Okay, Your Excellency.
So, according to that program and how we've been working, it is our target and hope, and we have worked over many years to achieve this come 2023. If we don't vote right, if we don't put something on the table to negotiate this power, to work on this power, to show that we are prepared to take it, others we take it because the Constitution is free.
Okay, Your Excellency, do you think the people of the Southeast will want to believe exactly the points you've highlighted here, considering the fact that just a few months ago, one of your party members, a top-notch, the vice president of this country, said that the power will return to 2023 to Southwest. And
Central Bank Melafia is from the north. We have Dara also from several people are contesting. But the issue is in the contest. When it comes to the table, what do you have to present? And we are part of that system that we present something. And for Ndibo, we have over 20 million registered voters across this country. Not just the 10 point something million that is being put on us in the core southeast states. We have over 20 out of 84 million registered voters. Show strength by the way you vote. Show that you are part of this system.
Okay.
Belong, so that when it comes, you can show that if this is given to you, you will win. You will have it. Let me tell you, this is power. It is not joke. Nobody is going to sit down and just say, take it. But when it is time, people will look at who has had it before, and for how long, and for so long, and for what period. Then we will come. But if you don't show that you have anything to put on the table, those that have had it and have consistently shown that they have it and know how to use what they have, they'll continue to hold it. But if you show that what you have, which is good, like I mentioned now, because all of us must change this narrative of 8 million, 10 million votes. We have over 20 million registered voters of Igbo extraction. We show that power. From wherever we are, we vote for President Muhammadu Buhari. We vote for APC. And then we have something on the table to continue to pursue this. And then we will be able to pick up. This thing is not just given. You have to work for it.
All right. It is politics right now, 19 hours before the presidential election, which is the biggest one, talking about who will, the fate of this country for the next 4 years. And we do have here a member of the P and the studios of Flow 94.9 FM.
All right. Your Excellency, just recently too, towards the build-up of the election that will be coming up in a few hours from now, there's been this endorsement here and there. The Ohanese endorsed the PDP, and some other group, they've also endorsed your own presidential candidate.
From the same Ohanese,
there's a series of endorsements here and there.
Your party.
Do you think it will have any impact as regards to
part of elections, democracy? It makes it good, it's something that happens. But the strength of the endorsement is the question. And in a situation where there is no unity and no uniformity and no consensus, it comes, it's dead on arrival because there is no strength. And again, when an organization or a group of people based on partisanship, if I am in APC and I got my friends together as a member of Ohanes, I'm a son of Igbo and I'm a member of Ohanes, then I go and announce that I endorse my president. And then my other colleagues who are either APC or who feel that this is a race, a people, a nationality that shouldn't be toyed with, then they come up and say, hey, you can't do that. We know you are APC or you are PDP and you've done this as a party person. We will do what is right. And this is where we want to go because that is it. But then division has set in. However, for me, what is key is the date and why and how it was done. An Imobi meeting was called. A number of members of that Imobi said, look, it's good that we meet, but on this date, it has been set aside to honor one of our own, to honor our former leader, our past leader, who led others to ensure the independence of this country from colonialism. The man that had been the president of this country. Sitting as a ceremonial president means sitting as a father to make sure that things, so pretending over things to make sure that we get into the independence smoothly, effectively. And this man worked so hard for the peace and unity of this country. And then for somebody on that day that was set aside to honor him, to go and do something else instead of being part of it, is a little bit absurd to me. Why? I am serving, I am working as an Igbo man. My intention is that the services I render, the efforts I make, whether living or dead, in future will attract some honor and respect. That is the only way I'll be, appreciated. And one of us that have served not just Ndibo, but Nigeria and Africa to end that appellation of the Zik of Africa is being honored on a date. A mausoleum completed in his honor, going to be commissioned, and somebody, instead of being part of celebrating our own Owele of our nature, the Zik of Africa, the brain with others, the brain behind the independence of the country we enjoy today, somebody goes doing endorsement at that same time is something that we shouldn't allow to happen. And for me, anybody who has set out his time, his efforts, his services to honor your leader, those that have come before us, like I keep saying, if some about Dr. Michael Okra, about Akanebiam, about Alex Ekweme, and a host of others in the negative, I will take that person up. I'll take the person up because automatically it means that person has no respect for me. He does not care about me. He does not care about my people, because this person was a father. He led. He did things that protected and advanced us to where we are. So taking care of that and giving honor to those people is an honor to us. So for me, that was the other aspect of it. Endorsement is going on by back and forth, left and right. It happens here, it happens in other climes. People do that during the elections. But like I said, what is the strength of that endorsement? So because of that division now that has occurred, I don't see that strength as much as, but what is paramount to us as Ndibo is what do we want? Where do we want to go from here? And APC is talking about next level. Where are we plugging to in the next level? You are talking of somebody, others saying getting Nigeria work again. Who were the ones that stopped Nigeria from working before? And then 3 years, somebody can fix he has fixed things and we are trying to consolidate. You want to take us back? So I don't want to go into all those details, but indeed, what do you want? Do you want us to go back to our roads remaining the way they are? Do you want us to go back to our people sleeping at the Niger Bridge, now that the second Niger Bridge is progressing well? Do you want us, my people that are traders and merchants who depend on what they sell and get wherever they are, that today that there are petroleum products available, they can go and maybe somebody buys a petrol of 1,500 and makes his next move and is able to make money that will give him even a whole shop? Do you want to continue to suffer during festive seasons, that my people will be coming and sleeping on the road just to get home? Do you want my people to suffer that while within the state we cannot move around unless you look for big money and queue for hours even with your money before you can get people are working, somebody is working. Let us allow him complete the work he's doing, and then, like I said, I see and I believe our chances of getting into the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is better with APC, with President Muhammadu Buhari, and that is something to focus on, and we should focus on it effectively. We should not say don't vote or don't. Let us vote. If you don't vote, you give strength and opportunity to your opponents. But when you vote, you show that you are part of it, you are strength, and not just voting, vote right. And I say this time, Ndibo, voting right means voting for President Muhammadu Buhari, so that we can go to our next level effectively, in candor, in courage, and then we can take it from there.
Okay, Your Excellency, we are talking about elections. Of course, your party, the APC, you agree with me that there has been these skirmishes within the fold of APC, especially even in Abia State and across in some parts of Nigeria, in some states. You're talking about the next level. Don't you think all these cracks within your fold, your party, will affect the fortunes of the party? Take, for instance, in Abia State, your party, a faction of your party is also in court trying to right the wrongs which originated from the primaries you conducted. Don't you think it will affect the chances of your party in this election?
I will take it this way. The APC, the All Progressive Congress, is the ruling party in Nigeria today. And because of that, a number of people consider it important to get the ticket or participate under that platform. If you will recall, I want to take your mind back to what was happening in PDP. You know how many people went to court during the period 2007 to 2011 in PDP struggling. There were even 2-3 PDP offices in Abia State, one on Ojika, another one at the other end. And you remember that? It was because people saw chances, they saw the opportunities. So, and in 2011, it happened again. Have you forgotten? That time, Chief Ikeche Menike was in PDP too, and he went through the court with the former governor all through to the Supreme Court. So it wasn't only in Abia. Wherever there is that, people see that opportunity and the strength that it is most likely and possible that I can get this office, and that people fight. And for me, like I keep telling people, it's better to go to court than to take laws into your hand. So when people go to court, they vent their angers, and at the end of the day, the judgment will come. The ruling definitely will favor one part and leave the other, and we move on. That is politics, the way it has been. But we are improving. If you recall, in the past, several thousands of cases will be in court after elections. It's reducing now because we are the system, we are perfecting, we are understanding it better, and it used to drag on and on ending. But now there is this 180 days, 90 days, and all that. So what you see is because APC is the beautiful bride, is the place to be. We are responsible now for the good things happening in Nigeria. We are responsible for moving us from the level of, we had the highest level of insecurity in this country as at the time APC came on board in 2015, and we have moved away from that. We haven't achieved complete what we want to achieve, but we have moved from that, and the evidences are clear. Before APC came on board, the bombings were everywhere. Abuja, everywhere, and the fear was that the people were advancing southwards, okay? And it was more consistent than what we see now. Before we came on board, people will talk of what is happening, the anti-corruption fight. People talk about things, so this security, our military hasn't got enough equipment. How will they have when some people shared $2.something billion meant for acquisition of procurement of equipment? So $2.something billion is 760 billion naira today. That's the equivalent of the money we are talking about. If you take it by our national budget of 8.something trillion, you are talking of something that is more than, is almost 1% or thereabout of our national budget. That's one procurement issue. We are not talking of other things. And these are equipment that you procure over time. It's not just off the shelf thing that you buy. So if it wasn't procured then, when we had the time, people shared the money, and we are trying to get it back. What we have now that we are fighting with are those that we are able to procure within this period of 3.5 years, and we are still procuring and moving on. So we are retraining and equipping the people better and more. So I want our people to appreciate this situation. You are talking of a country where the Minister of Finance, luckily from this state of Abia, and she was the coordinating minister, was shouting that we were borrowing money to pay salaries. She was shouting. The former governor of Central Bank, Soludo, was shouting and said, I pity whoever will take over. The other former governor of Central Bank, Sanusi Lamido, shouted, money is being taken away. He was, sent home because of that. What does that tell you? It means that we had already gone into recession without knowing it. And that was why, even at a time we were getting less revenue, we had to, the APC administration led by President Muhammad Buhari, had to give what we now call bailout. Bailout came 2 times to pay salaries before the Paris Club reformed. It was to try, and we had more than about 26 states or more that were owing. When Buhari came on board, he did not say, oh, this thing will give bailout only to APC states, or I will give to the North and West, I won't give to the Southeast. So when people talk about certain things, I wonder, a man who's under his leadership as military head of state, his Attorney General and Minister of Justice, was an Igbo man, affordably from Anambra. When he decided to contest as a civilian president, his first choice was an Igbo man, Dr. Chuba Kadiwo. His second choice was an Igbo man.
So
Chief
why didn't he pick an Igbo man in 2015? If actually he has this law for Igbos. In 2015, he decided to go to the Southwest.
Okay, let me ask you. I am happy you went through the rigors of schooling and passing exams. If you have been using a formula and you get F9, would you continue with that?
But why?
You will not, because you know that you will have to look for a formula that works.
But that brings the question.
But that you get a formula that works does not mean that you are no longer in love with those that taught you about that subject.
But that brings
or
the
those
question.
or those that your colleagues that you've worked
sorry
with
for
before.
cutting you. That brings the question, the marginalization, the perceived marginalization of the Igbos in the Southeast. The appointment, principals, appointment
what appointments in politics, even locally here, in politics, what counts is your participation. What counts is your followership. What counts is your friendship. And what confirms your friendship is the number of votes that you bring.
For example,
and
appointment of key members of that,
I know, that's where I'm coming to. I'm coming to that.
Security chiefs and the others.
If you just give me a few minutes, I'll come to that, and I will tell you. Okay? Well, in 2015, there were some offices allocated to the Southeast. One of them was the Senate president. But we could not take it because our people refused to let any APC person to win election. Senator Chris Ngige, former governor of Anambra State, was there. He contested. If he had won, he would have been the Senate president. We had other people. Why I mentioned him is that he was a ranking senator, having been there before. So we lost that. We also pushed for the secretary to the government of the federation. I won't go into the nitty-gritty and details. Those of us that were involved, we know what we asked, what we wanted, and what happened at last. Within us, we made some mistakes. We are talking about the fact that, yes, you don't have certain people in certain places, especially within the security architecture. And I say, yes, constitutionally, the federal character and everything demands that you spread. But constitutionally too, whoever is in charge will have to work with people he or she is comfortable with, and that he can work. If that is the case, what you look at is what is on the table. Was it right? Should it be so? That is matter of personal. Hold on.
Are the Igbos marginalized?
Who is the person from the south, north central, not marginalized? The man from Kaduna, the Kaduna South, the man from Benue, the man from Plateau, the man from Taraba. Everybody is crying marginalization. Even the northeast. I have attended meetings where the people are saying, hey, after Tafawa Balewa, what happened? We want to come back to the office. So who is not crying marginalization? So marginalization has become a good word to use to start complaining. The Igbos, what you see, if you continue to dwell in the past, you won't move forward. It is good to remember the past, because it helps you to stabilize your present. When you stabilize the present, then the future will be clear to you, and then you can move ahead. And what I'm saying is, don't remain in the past, move ahead, move forward, and this is the way to go. And the way to go is to vote right. Look, our people should stop this hate speech and all those things they are talking about. This person doesn't like us. He doesn't like you, and he paid their people that fought against the Nigerian state. He paid them their pensions and gratuity. Those that our own people who has been there said they pardoned and they couldn't do it. He doesn't like us, and he's doing all these things I mentioned, the second and all the other things. He doesn't like us, and he is giving us the support for this industrial city. This industrial city, Enyimba industrial city, is something that will turn Abia greatly around. I make reference and I refer people, I say, we talk of Dubai. Dubai is just like Aba. It's in the United Arab Emirates, UAE. But people talk of Dubai. People even know Dubai more than the country. Why? Because of what is happening there. That's the kind of thing that we are talking about. These pilot projects, like I spoke about the area and the other projects. These are pilot projects. You can put it, if you decide, you put it any other place. Why must it be Aba? Why must it be in the southeast? Okay, so there are things you see, you know that somebody doesn't really hate you. You see, we all have different administrative styles. My style of administering definitely will not be the same style with you. Just as our lifestyles are different, we are made uniquely and created in unique forms. But the thing is that President Muhammadu Buhari has very good mind. He has very sane thinking about the future of Nigerians, of our children, and the generations to come.
Okay. So
his integrity speaks for him. Otherwise, let us face it. Tell me any other person that in this country or in Africa that has had the kind of opportunities he had. He was in the army, grew to that rank of Major General, occupied almost most commands in the military, including the military board, served as minister of, governor of what is today known as the Northeast, served as Minister of Petroleum then, served as head of state, served as chairman of PTF. Nobody, local, national, continental, international, have said this man at one time or the other asked me for this money, I gave him this.
Okay, yeah.
That is something. It means that put him aside with some people. If you put him as a bank and put the others as a bank, most people will go to this bank because they're sure when they come back, they'll meet their money. Put him on a room, put your money on a table. You can be sure when you come back, you will meet your money intact in the same denominations that you left it, and nothing will happen. But some other people and most people, when you come back, you will not even see the table on which you put that money.
All right, sir. Still talking about the issue of integrity. When he came on board, the president, he talked about fighting corruption, insecurity, and the economy. Okay, let's pick one of them, the corruption, the fight against corruption. In your own mind, you talked about him being in a room and leaving the money there. What about those people around him? I remember the ex-DG NIA. He is supposed to face corruption charges, but he's nowhere to be found together with his wife. And the president didn't do anything. In your own mind, do you think that's a very good way to fight corruption? And so many other corrupt allegations, especially with those of APC members.
Thank you very much. I'm happy you asked this question. Most of the high-flying corruption cases that have been brought to conclusion happened to affect APC. Former governor of Plateau State, serving Senator Diraye, was sent to jail. He's APC. Former Governor Jolin Yeme, sent to jail, APC. And don't forget, I've told people there is a proverb in my place. If you've not served and you have nothing against you, nobody will come to carry you or harass you. Even if they do, eventually they will discover you are free, they will leave you. Today, BD Lawa, former SGF, is being prosecuted.
After a very long time, maybe after all the talks,
you are an educated man, that there is an allegation. You don't just take matter to court without investigating. You need evidence. You need something concrete. I can call somebody like we do. Somebody can be playing with you, or something can be happening and say, you are a thief. You will not even see the table on which you put that money.
All right, sir. Still talking about the issue of integrity. When he came on board, the president, he talked about fighting corruption, insecurity, and the economy. Okay, let's pick one of them, the corruption, the fight against corruption. In your own mind, you talked about him being in a room and leaving the money there. What about those people around him?
Further, the EFCC, and they continued. And when they felt comfortable, they've taken him to court.
His corruption charges, but he's nowhere to be found together with his wife. And the president didn't do anything. In your own mind, do you think that's a very good way to fight corruption? And so many other corrupt allegations.
So if somebody is stealing now and thinks he's free, that is not going to be. But let me correct something here. Even you, not your brother, not your mother, not your father, after training you, they will tell you, don't steal, don't do this. If you go and steal, will that become their responsibility? You will face the music that somebody engages your services because he believes you are good, you have something to offer, and in the course of doing that, you go outside the norms and the set rules and do something wrong, and you get caught. You face the music, not the person that engaged you, because you are an adult. You are God has given us free will. And so if out of your own free will you decide to be a thief or a pilferer, and somebody catches you, you face that music, not the person that. Where you will now feel bad is if this thief is caught and that person that employed him or his father comes to stand in between and say, no, you can't touch my child because he stole. Yes, I agree he stole, but you can't touch my child. That's where you should blame the father. But when that happens, and the father said, let us be sure he stole, and then there are substantial evidence that this person, and the father said, you go and deal with the matter, and he takes off his hand, you should respect that person. It means that the integrity stands. But that somebody, even your children, if somebody decides to be a little naughty, that does not mean that your principles, your discipline is affected. It's just that that person has gone off the line, and that person will bear the brunt and take the responsibility for it.
Okay, all right. Former governor of Abia State, Dr. Chris Akomas here. Former deputy governor of Abia State, Dr. Chris Akomas here, a member of the BOT, that's Board of Trustees of the All Progressives Congress, and also a member of Strategic Communication Committee and Field Operations Committee of the Buhari Oshibajo Campaign Council. Well, speaking about the next level campaign of President Muhammadu Buhari, that's the All Progressives Congress. You know, the presidential election is just a day and some hours, and is here to talk about the next level campaign of his party, the All Progressives Congress.
All right, sir. The elections, like we always also know, that is just maybe a Saturday. Do you trust INEC to do a good job, considering the fact that just yesterday, the national chairman of your party said that the INEC
is working with PDP.
With PDP, to thwart the wishes of the people in Saturday's election.
He said, as it affects Zamfara. He said Zamfara let's.
No, but he said
yes. He said Zamfara. He said Zamfara.
Yes, he cited an example.
That's the national chairman of the party, and he has information about the party that I not have. That is certain. 2, there are judgments, coming from the courts. INEC, in their own wisdom, have their through which them. So if we go by this, PDP have been saying INEC is doing this and that. Now the chairman spoke specifically. He said Zamfara because the court, there are conflicting judgments, and I for obvious reason, I try very hard not to get into the issues that is going on within this judiciary, because there are wonderful and good judicial officers that have helped in growing our democracy, in stabilizing the system, and ensuring that this country remains together. But there are also those, either willingly or unwillingly, either out of some either commission or omission, make some pronouncements that keep creating confusions. But for me, as Chris Akomas, I would say that INEC, they've worked hard, they've improved the systems, and we keep on improving. I have no reason not to trust them. And I believe the elections on Saturday will come. It will be fair, it will be free, it will be credible, it will be non-violent, and Nigeria will move on together again. We had this before. We've always had this kind of situations towards elections. But at the end of the day, God makes his way for Nigerians, and we remain together. That was why at some point somebody said that God is a Nigerian. And I tell you, come Saturday, the votings will take place. If Zamfara doesn't, 1 or 2 states doesn't, out of 36, Nigerians will hold the elections, the results will be announced, and a president will be declared. And I know, I believe, and I trust that that president that will be declared will be President Muhammadu Buhari, because we have worked hard and the evidence is on ground, is there, the people are with us, and I'm sure we are going to win the elections.
All right.
But be that as it may, like I've always done, I urge even those of you in the media and others to please, in the interest.
You can also drop your messages on the SMS line 0906 510 8289. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Michael.
Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, the guest in the studio.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Angel. I'm calling from Mumbai.
All right, you're welcome, Angel.
No matter what those people in the studio do, if they like, they should mobilize the whole world and come to your studio. Buhari is not going to win this election. The people have rejected.
Hello? Angel. Okay, we lost that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yes, she's entitled to her opinion. Okay. Yes, and it's a free world. The people in the studio are not mobilizing anybody for Buhari, and we are coming. So it's okay, it's her opinion.
Okay, we have someone on the line. Hello, yes, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What's your name?
Yes, my name is Emmanuel.
Okay.
I'm calling from Olokoro.
All right, you're welcome.
Yes, please, first and foremost, anyone that calls should speak for his or herself. No people is rejecting Buhari. I myself am a strong Buhari fan. And for the past how many years, we've seen the way with PDP. PDP has given us nothing to write home about. All they have done is to leave our treasury dry. And now, it's not maybe I'm an Igbo man, then I will discriminate against Buhari, who is from the other side of the nation. I mean, he has something good. He told us when he came on board that the first 4 years would be kind of difficult, and we enjoyed with him. And now, let's just hold him by his words that everything will be fine. And come 2023, he will provide us with an Igbo president. And I strongly believe that. So anybody talking should talk for his or herself. Not
all right, let's move on because of our time. Thank you. Hello, good morning to you. Please move away from your radio set. Thank you. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Gomez.
Good morning.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon. It's afternoon. Good
Good
afternoon.
morning, Your Excellency.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Joseph Fukota from my side.
All right.
Okay.
Sir, I am very, very happy for your taking so much time to try to explain and just encourage the people to on what to do. But I have very little issues as it concerns some of these things. I wonder why the man, the future of the man will always, they will have to always bargain for the future of the man. Why the man will always play second fiddle when it comes to the Nigerian arrangement? Such positions were not given to the South when they produced Jonathan. And such were not also given to the Yorubas when they produced Obasanjo. What kind of bargain is that for the man to always play top fiddle, not even second now? A certain man that sang said that maybe not charging and brothers will done a while ago. If the man that is always ahead before now plays far back from the outside, now it's outside Yoruba before you get the man. Yeah, they will have to do the eye or they never see all that shit. That is my question. Why would the man always play the third man as it concerns Nigeria?
All right. Thank you for your contribution.
You want to react to that?
Yeah.
Okay. We do have someone on the line, so you react after this call.
Okay.
Good afternoon to you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
My name is Atemkes Mamuzuku.
All right. You're welcome.
PDP has failed us a lot. Today, I can't even, I'm not very, very happy that this of a trade is coming around. What we need is APC. From president to chairman, APC we need. APC we go. PDP has already fed us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for your contribution. Dr.
Yes,
Chris,
the young man that asked why is the Igbo man playing second, he even went further to say, in fact, the third fiddle. Well, that's why I'm here, to educate us, our people, and urge them to do it right. At the time you were talking about, we had those that we, work with, and things work well and better. And that's the question I have always asked. Why do you want to go? You are going to the yam ban. You are asked to pick a yam. You can get robust and better yam to eat. You go and pick, a yam that looks like something that Kwashoko has said, something that is not sure. When you know that for sure you can go and pick a better yam by going straight, working hard, walk into that yam ban, look well and pick the correct thing. Let us go and pick the correct thing, which is the president of this country come 2023 by voting for President Muhammadu Buhari. We are not out to continue to do monkey business. We are out to do what is right for our people. I believe and I strongly advise that we all work towards the betterment of our people today, tomorrow, the years to come, for our children, for ourselves now, our children, and generations to come. This sentiment and hate thing